Welcome to Straight Talk Thursday, everybody. Woo! We're back in the studio today, and it's miserable out there. I'm telling you, it's not meant for man, nor beast, nor mom, nor me. And did you get that on the radio? Welcome to the show, Straight Talk Thursday. Yeah, I don't know if I had my button down for the microphone on the radio. So, welcome to the show, all my radio listeners on 4680q.com. Yeah, the internet, and it's live at noon on 4680q.com. And of course, I do a podcast and tape the show I do for the radio, and it goes up and it'll be on YouTube by about 3 o'clock. YouTube, Rumble, X, and social. What was it? Truth Social. That's what it is. Trump's platform. It's on there as well. Anyway, thank you for tuning into the show. Welcome to the show on this miserable day. 47 degrees at 5 a.m. when I got up, and the barometer was taking a dip, 29.15 as opposed to 29.60 something yesterday, and that's why we have inclement weather. It's going to rain all day, flooding possible in parts of Ontario, north of us, and it's going to hang around. And unfortunately, I was hoping there's a 55% chance of rain tomorrow. I didn't want that for the kids on Halloween Day. 41 degrees listed as the temperature, so it's not going to be freezing cold, but it'll be chilly. And with the rain, it makes it really miserable. And let's hope it holds out for the kids. Come on, give us a couple hours here, Mother Nature, and let the kids have a shot at a nice Halloween, dry Halloween, so they can enjoy it like we used to when we were kids. It was always seemed to be a little bit colder, but it didn't matter to us. We were running around with big coats on and costumes and everything else, so who cares? But we hope it holds off. Tell you the truth, kids don't go out like we did. They're out at around 6 o'clock when it starts getting dark. I think the clocks go back this weekend, so it's going to be a little bit late when they get there. And once it starts getting a little dark, they come out, the small kids. You might get a few older kids at 8 o'clock, 7:30 or 8. But basically, it's all done by that time. And just the way it is today. I mean, we used to have kids at the door at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. It didn't matter. It was wild when we were kids. So you see this weather out here. It's miserable. I had to walk from the car into the studio. Raining. That's why I got my hat on. It's under 50. I got my hat on. I got my rubber coat on. And you know what? It's miserable. But this is the kind of day where your car breaks down. This is the kind of day I've been telling you about, that you don't want to break down on, because it's just miserable and CAA won't be there when you need them. It's terrible. That's why you have to get your car into Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop. You have to talk to Ken Hunter. You have to say, Ken, give my car the once over and make sure that it's running tip-top. You do not want to break down in this weather and stand out there waiting for CAA and monkey around with your car. No. Get in there, get Ken to check out your car. He'll check your brakes, your suspension. He's going to check your defroster, your heater, whatever is a problem, he's going to fix. And then you're all set for the winter. You don't have to think about anything until April when you get your summer checkout, right? So there you go. Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, next to the Kia dealership on Oakwood Drive in Niagara Falls. And you can go to their website, wildbillsauto.ca. You see all the services they provide. They have a full body shop to take care of your car and get it back to you in showroom condition. If you've had an accident, how can you beat it? How can you beat it? And while you're at wildbillsauto.ca, jump over to YouTube. Look for Paul Lemire, my name, Paul Lemire. And look for the Your City, Your Voice channel and subscribe to it. It costs you nothing to subscribe. Absolutely nothing. You can watch all the videos. I drop a video every day of the week. You can get notifications so you know when they do come up. They'll pop up on your phone, and you'll be all set to go. And you can give a thumbs up, thumbs down, leave comments. We love comments. We'll be talking about comments today from some of our listeners, and it's fantastic. You just got to join. Why not get in on the party? We have an election in a year, and we got to make sure that we know what's going on. We got the budget coming up in a month. Got to make sure we know what's going on. It's our dollars being spent. Join the party. I'll give you some insight. And you can agree with me or not agree with me, but you're going to hear what I have to think about it. That's the one sure thing. Also, if you are listening to the show live on 4680q.com and you want to send a comment over on something I'm talking about, hey, 289-994-7560. That's this little puppy here, and this thing's going to ring. And when it goes ding, I know somebody sent me a message, and I'll get it on air. Hey, before the show, John Ringo Bean stopped in for a second, and he says he's running for mayor, and he's propping me up because he's telling me what he's going to do. I'm not going to give it to you yet, but I'll let you know. But he did mention one interesting thing that I really liked, and he said, Ken Todd's coming to work for the city, and he's going to deal with the homeless crisis and everything. And he says it's not going to cost us anything, but if he's using city resources and they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing to help him, then he's costing us money. And John is right. I never thought of it. I never thought of that angle, but John is right. So there you go. John's got some great ideas, and if he can get it together and keep on track, the guy knows a lot. He's got to focus. If he focuses, it's going to be good. We'll see what he does. So 289-994-7560. That's where you send me a text message or even a Facebook message on my Facebook page. It'll ding up here too, and I'll read it on air. So speaking of comments, let's take a look at several of your comments from last week's show. And just remember that Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop isn't my only sponsor. I have Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue and Hamel Machine Company. I'll talk about them in a minute. Okay, from Tuesday's show, these would be, because yesterday was absolutely at Elliott 4MP. This is absolutely outrageous. And he's talking about the Niagara Regional Police budget. $237 million for the Niagara Regional Police, an 11.5% budget increase blows right past the council's 3.5% limit. And that's what they did. They passed the Bob Gale's 3.5% limit, but this doesn't even come close to what they wanted to hold them to. Elliott 4MP says this is fiscal insanity. Taxpayers are not an unlimited ATM for $250 million police force budgets. In fact, high taxes or out of control spending are the real threats to public welfare. End the waste, abolish the casino patrol payoff, and demand smaller, more efficient government. And I agree. I mean, I always talking about that. Get rid of that $3.6 million we give to the regional police. We already pay the lion's share of their $237 soon-to-be budget. St. Catharines and Niagara Falls pick up most of the tab because we're the biggest cities. So we already give them a real good chunk of change. To have $3.6 million more for casino patrol, no. They should be patrolling our city as it is. They did before we had the casinos, that Fallsview area. There's no reason they can't do it now for the money we're giving them, $250 million. That's nonsense. It's got to end. It's got to end. And that would be, if I was running for mayor, that would be the first thing I try to abolish is that. And I don't know why the city puts up with it. I don't know why. At 881 Slick, and thank you for the comment, Elliott 4MP. I really appreciate it. And Elliott, if you don't know who it is, he's a guy that lives up North Bay Area, to believe it or not. And he ran for the Libertarian Party as MP. And he's a really good guy. He knows his stuff, and he follows like a lot of different municipalities in Ontario, just simply because that's what he does. He wants information. He wants knowledge. So great guy. At 881 Slick, my buddy Gary. Good show, Paul. I'll have something to say soon in regards to the Niagara Regional Police and their new disgusting budget. And you know what, Gary? A lot of people are expressing that sentiment to me. That is just unsustainable. We are not piggy banks for these guys. We are not piggy banks. And I know. Crime is running rampant. So our politicians have to give the Niagara Regional Police a hand. And you know how they do that? By taking these criminals and locking them up and keeping them locked up. If they're not running the streets, they're not committing crime. If they're not committing crime, then That's keeping our police doing what they're supposed to be doing, and that's preventing crime and catching more criminals. But when they just go through a turnstile through the courts and the weak judges, the weak courts, the liberal court, look at liberals, 1 star, would not recommend. You see what that shirt says? There you go. That says it all. And we got to get rid of these liberal laws and we got to lock these guys up and let our police do what they're supposed to do, not chase these guys around 10 times before somebody finally throws them in jail. Not the way it works. You want the police to be efficient, help them out. Help them out with tough laws. That's how you help them out. We'd have to hire 1 million police officers, one in every corner. We really wanted to stop crime, or our politicians can get serious on crime and they throw these guys away and keep them there. Then the police don't have to deal with them. I mean, you think I'm making it up? You look at the news and see how many charges these guys have against them before they finally get thrown in the slammer. It's ludicrous. It's ridiculous. It's outrageous. People should be outraged. They're not. I don't know why. They should be outraged. At Blaster 9125. Hey, that looks like a new name to me. I don't remember Blaster 9125, but thank you so much for your comment. Great show. I'd like to ask City Council a question. Hey, and this question is a good one, and I want to know too. Okay, city councilors, if you're listening, or anybody listening out there that wants to ask the same question to their city councilors, in arriving at a final budget number, what specific measures has the city taken to limit spending before proposing another tax increase to residents already facing higher costs of living? And that's a great question, because we don't see a lot of it. We get a lot of lip service, but what have they actually done to drop this budget? Now, we see Lori Lococo making up a chart with efficiencies on it, where she would like to see them save money. But Mona Patel says send it back to staff. They're the ones who made it. Yeah, okay, they say it's Mayor Diodati's budget. We know that's a bunch of baloney. You don't make anything except photos on video, crazy videos, which we'll talk about in a minute. But yeah, so he gets the budget from staff. And then it comes to city council. That's the way it works. So to send it back to staff, well, they're going to say, no, we can't make it anymore. And then they use fear mongering to tell you they have to cut services. That's the only way. It's not the only way. They try to fear monger you into submission, and most people fall for it. So what else happened? Oh yeah, Ruth Van Nieuwesteg, Councillor Van Nieuwesteg, she says that we're going to cut $50,000 off the $30 million firefighters budget. That's the best recommendation she can have out of 192 pages of the capital budget and 400 pages, 32 pages or some of the operations budget. That's her one big contribution. Come on, give me a break. This is just nonsense. But that's what we got. That's what we got. And so, yeah, that's a great question. I'd like to ask City Council, in arriving at a final budget number, what specific measures has the city taken to limit spending before proposing another tax increase to residents already facing higher tax costs of living? And they'll tell you, oh, we did that. Yeah. Believe me, here's what you got to do. Very simple. 6% increase, 1% we need for asset management. Okay, give them that. So that leaves 5%. 5%, divide that by 700,000. That's about $7 million, right? $700,000. 7 times that. So we need 5 million. So what we knew is just take 5 million or whatever it is, 5%. That leaks out. That's the $3.5 million we need. There you go. There's the math. 700,000 for every percent. 3.5 million. Take it off the casino budget. They still have 7.5 million to blow, and the budget is at 0. That's how simple it is. Are they going to tell you that? No, they're going to come up with Venn diagrams, charts, graphs, ba-be-bee, ba-boo, ba-boo, ba-dee, ba-boo, ba-bing, word salads and all baloney. But it's very, very simple. if they have the will to do it. So there you go. Great question. I love it. Thank you at Blaster9125. Okay, at Dave Wheeler, 1158. Now, this is a good one. Ford check with lawyers in the U.S. Nothing fake. Because I was saying that whole a video with Ronald Reagan was sound bites clipped together to make it look like he was against tariffs and all that. Reagan was a free trader. He laid the groundwork for near tariff free trade with Canada. Dislike for Trump comes from him trying to poach jobs from Canada that were created by Reagan trade vision. Oh, man. Hating Trump is a waste of emotion. He will fail. U.S. manufacturing is down. Agriculture is failing, and no country trusts the U.S. All I can say is poppycock. Poppycock. That whole statement is false, fugazi, fake news. I mean, the Reagan Institute has taken a look at what Ford posted, the fugazi video, and maybe they'll take legal action against them. And it was pulled from the broadcast as soon as that threat came through. It lasted like a day, and everybody's screaming about it. As a matter of fact, Trump said it's so fake, I'm going to put a 10% tariff on Canada on everything, on top of whatever I gave him, for trying to undermine our Supreme Court decision as to the tariffs. They call it interfering with the U.S. government operation. They misrepresented Reagan's remarks on tariffs, and Ford didn't have permission to use those clips. The reality is, forget about what Dave Wheeler said. All Ontario taxpayers should be aghast that Ford used hard-earned tax dollars, like 75 million of them, for this garbage ad. And you know what? How can you seriously take what a guy said 50 years ago on trade and tariffs and everything and apply it to today's world? You think the world's changed since 1980 when Ronald Reagan was president? If you don't, you're missing the boat here. The world's changed. Everything's changed. It's not the same as it was. So that's the way Trump's doing it. It's working, and all this other stuff. Well, that's nonsense. It's nonsense. That's your left-wing media talking. That's what that is. And he never poached any jobs from Canada, Trump. That's also nonsense. I mean, it's easy for the left-wing zanies to blame Trump for everything. It's either Trump or climate change. And you know what? Climate change is now being admitted it was fake. It's a hoax. And, they can't account for any of their criminal acts, these left-wingers. They can't account for why their leaders are so inept and incompetent, like Carney and Ford. So what do? The left wing? They take their TDS, ramp it up, and blame Trump for everything. All of Canada's problems are because of Trump. For 10 years, we've had an idiot running the country. Then we elect another clown, and they blame Trump. I mean, you want to know who's responsible for all this? Look in the mirror. Look in the mirror. Every left-wing zany that blames Trump, look in the mirror, because that's who's responsible right there. And I hear these comments daily, and I just laugh at them. You gotta just take them as a joke, because they're so ridiculous. They're so ridiculous. They're not even to be entertained, really. It's just ridiculous to blame Trump for Canada's woes. It's not Trump's fault. It's not Trump's fault that Carney can't make a deal. 10 years of Trudeau isn't Trump's fault. You blame Trump for everything? It's not Trump's fault these companies are moving out. They've had enough here in Canada without any deals. Forget about it. Anyway, leave your comments. This is what I like to see, comments like this. They're just so outrageous. They're just crazy. And believe me, Dave Wheeler's a good friend of mine. He comes in here, we do city council together, and he just has a totally different view on everything than I do. That's all. So he left a comment. I responded. Now he'll give me another response back. Big word salad, of course, but that's the way it operates. City council notes. To be honest, once again, I had to stop watching. I stopped watching the meeting. I couldn't even watch it. Usually, I have a good excuse. I go watch the Montreal Canadiens play, but they weren't playing until 10:30, so I had lots of time to watch it. I couldn't take it anymore. I just watched Counselor Van Nieuwesteeg get up and ramble on and on and on. And remember, every minute she wastes is $26, $1,600 an hour is what it cost us to have them there. So every minute she wastes is $26. She probably wasted about $600 of our taxpayer dollars with her rambling and made all the council miss the start of the Blue Jays game. Um, I'm amazed she gets away with it. I mean, all counselors are supposed to have 5 minutes to talk. She blows it half an hour. It just keeps rambling on. She's a gas bag. And you know what? The mayor should be telling her, shut up. No, you don't. You don't. He lets her go on and on. He was prompting her to sit down, but she doesn't listen. She just keeps on going, wasting taxpayer dollars for nothing. I mean, most of the stuff that she talked about should have been asked before the meeting to staff and that and thing, but she must just play off her hunch there as she's sitting there. A thought comes into her brain. Oh, I got to stand up and ask about that. Either she doesn't read the agenda, or I don't know, she just doesn't think of any questions until the meeting. I don't know, but it wastes a lot of times, and 9 times out of 10, there's no point to be made. It's all questions that can be asked of staff before the meeting, so she's informed. It's unbelievable, and that's why I turned it off. I couldn't take it anymore. And to tell you the truth, I'm surprised they didn't cancel the meeting totally, because every 5 minutes, King James, the weird, he would be saying, we got to get out of here. The Blue Jays are playing. Why even have a meeting if that's their predominant mindset? We got to get out of here to watch a baseball game. I mean, if watching a baseball game saved the taxpayer dollars, I'd be all for it. Rushing through a council meeting because they want to watch a baseball game, I'm not for that. And I don't even care if they don't have a meeting that day. Move it to another night so they can watch the Blue Jays play. I mean, it was an ongoing theme. It's crazy. I guess some of them missed the first couple of innings of the game. I don't know. I don't watch it, so I couldn't care less. But at the end of the day, I mean, just don't have a meeting and postpone it for a day, and so you can watch the game. Now, I did tune back in the next day to the city council meeting, and the fire report was pretty interesting. And I listened to the guy talking, the consultant or whatever he was. They made big money. It took a year to do. Probably made probably 100, 200,000. I don't know what we paid. I'd love to know that number. But the report that he gave did say to get rid of dispatch. Did say to get rid of dispatch number. One of the recommendations. And I've been saying something for about 10 years now about the fire department. And it just goes by the call volume. And we don't get that report we used to get every year that says how many calls they made and what percentage of the calls went to fire and medical emergencies and other stuff. We don't get that anymore. But I mean, 99% of calls that the fire department gets are not related to fires. Out of 3,000 or 4,000 calls or whatever they get a year, I think back in 2018, they got about 2,100 calls, and there was like 20 or something, or about less than 1% were actual fire calls. The rest were medical emergencies and stuff like that. And so at that time, I said we should really, really do a complete review of the fire department and see exactly what we need, and not so much because of the budget, their $30 million budget. Back then was only 21 million or something. But more because, do we really need 120 firefighters, or can we get by with 80 and make it up with EMS to deal with medical emergencies? And I saw this guy that was doing the consulting. I forget his name. He was kind of insinuating that in his speech when he was talking about these little safety things down in the Parks Commission, help funded by the Niagara Parks Commission, where down the falls, around the falls, there's a lot more emergency medical calls than there are fire calls. Very few down there, actually. I mean, most of these big buildings have self-contained units, the rooms, that have fire suppression systems with them. So, very few. I can't remember a fire in one of these high rises. Maybe once every, I don't know how many years, but I can't remember. But anyway, so it's good to have a safety patrol down there, like with a couple firefighters. But I think it's more important to have a couple EMS there to deal with medical emergencies, way more than fire emergencies. Now, the firefighters probably get 1% fire calls, if that many, of the total calls. But they are needed in other situations, such as extractions from car wrecks, gorge falls, some other things. They're needed on scene, but mostly it's medical emergencies. And right now they say they can respond faster. Well, yeah, they can, because we only have 2 ambulances or something in the city, some ridiculously low number. Now, if we had less firefighters and more EMS who are on call, ready to go, when the call comes in, is it a medical emergency? Yes. Okay, they send the EMS, but they got to be there to send them. The fire department responds now because there's nobody to go. So when you look at that, they get paid a lot less than firefighters, maybe half the wage, half the salary. So we would save a ton of money just from that. And this guy kind of made that point. And the 10-year plan that he put together was okay. I mean, we know city's growing and all that. But I really liked when I heard him starting to question exactly what do we need. And that is not included in the 10-year plan. Give us a dozen ambulances and staff to man them. And the firefighters wouldn't have to go to these emergency medical calls. We'd probably have enough. I'm just using that as an example. We might need 8. We might need 13, 14. I don't know. But until we do a review, we won't know. And that's the problem. And it's costing us a lot of money. I think we can save $5 million a year on the fire department if we had the right personnel there. Now, you recommended getting rid of dispatch, so that's going to go for sure now. This cemented the idea that we don't need it, which should have been okay 2 years ago. So it's going to be interesting how this progresses and what Jason Burgess does, because Jason Burgess was talking kind of along these lines 2 years ago when they were talking about sending dispatch somewhere else. Maybe this will give them the courage to stand up and say, let's do a review and figure out exactly what we need. So it's going to be interesting. That was an interesting look at the fire department. I hope they continue it and go right into exactly what we need and how we're going to address our needs, not just hire people like crazy and be short on one end and use them for jobs that they're not really supposed to be doing. So it's time to do a complete redo of the fire department, 12-hour shifts instead of 24-hour shifts. Right now, they're like the police. They're just unaffordable. We can't afford them. Taxpayers can't afford it every year, these big increases. And now's the time to do an in-depth review and get it straightened out. So the 10-year report touched on some good stuff, no doubt. I couldn't understand why they wouldn't refurbish Fire Station 6 rather than building a new one. That's another question I have. But interesting stuff. Now, they talked about the armory, and I found most of council want to keep the armory, but it all comes down to money, and it isn't cheap to keep it going. So they're going to give them a 1-year extension when their lease runs out in April of 2026 to get their act together. And they said they were not going to dump it into the surplus land bin, which is pretty good. That's pretty good they said that. Now, a business plan has been made by the speakers that came up to speak, and they said they have a really good plan, so we'll see how that is. I think they can probably make this work. So I'm hoping they can. And with that not going to be declared surplus land, that might help a little bit. That might help a little bit. The city seems intent on keeping it. So that's a good thing. And they said they have volunteers that can handle some of the much needed repairs on the building. So that's a good thing. And it looks like, it's not going to cost them anything except material rather than time. So I think the extension of the lease for another year is all key to this. It'll give them time to get going. And away we go. So I hope they keep it. It's an interesting place. And somebody told me this morning, I think it was Gary Wilkins, that the Parks Commission is going to see about running a shuttle from the parks up to the museum to see the military museum there. So if that happens, that might be something that's pretty neat. Maybe they'll keep it going right into Queen Street and help Queen Street out too. Okay, Eric Idle. We'll get into him. He gave a presentation on the road situation. We'll get into that in a minute. But I have to get to my second sponsor, Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. And the thing about pizza is you need consistency from whoever's making the pizza. That's the key, consistency. Using consistent formulas for sauce and crust, using consistently fresh toppings, and knowing how to cook it, being consistent in your mix of sauce and cheese. That right ratio is so important. Pete's Pizza does that. Excuse me, I got the hums. It's the weather, don't you know? Pete's Pizza is very good at doing that. They use the Mancini family recipe, been around for 40 years, tried and true. They use fresh toppings, a blend of brick and mozzarella cheese. Put it on in the right ratios. How can you beat it? They know what they're doing. That's all I can tell you. And they're good at what they do. They cook the pizza just right, get it to you hot and fresh. How can you beat it? They have wings, panzerotti, poutine, steak and cheese poutine, chicken parm sandwiches. They have a plethora of great food. You're not going to be disappointed. Open till 2 a.m. on Friday and Saturday, midnight during the week. How can you go wrong? You get the munchies. Hey, order up a nice pizza. You're going to love it. And now the northwest area of Niagara Falls, guess what? You got your own Pete's Pizza down your end. Kaler and Thoroldstone, the newest location. How can you go wrong? 905-374-2222. You know you want a pizza. Why fool around? Just order one for supper. Come on, let's go. I already had mine. I'm a lucky guy. Pete's Pizza, Victoria Avenue. Go get it. Go to their website, pete'spizzavictoria.ca, to check out all their stuff. And tell them Paul from Your City, Your Voice sent you, and support our sponsors. They support the show. Thank you very much. We love our sponsors. Okay, so Eric Idle will give a presentation on the roads. A lot of word salad, but no commitment to dedicating any money to really tackle the problem. He was talking about a 10-year plan. That's great. But you know what? You got to apply money to this 10-year plan. You're not going to fix the roads in 10 years with $2 million a year. No. He seemed to be deep into preventative measures. He loves to talk about crack sealing. Crack sealing, that's the answer. Crack seal everything. You know what? Here's what we got to do, right? You have to dedicate $20 million a year for the next 5 years to get these roads fixed. We've been hearing about fixing the jawbreaker for I don't know how many years now, and it's still there, a big mess, killing your car, knocking out your teeth, and making your kidneys feel like jello. Still hasn't been fixed. It still hasn't been fixed. We need to dedicate more money, and I would take it from the casino money and apply it directly to the roads. Yep, that's what I would do. And you know what? They're going to cry. Oh, we might not get the money. Well, we'll worry about that if we jump to it. Let's get these roads fixed. $250 million since the casinos opened 30 years ago, and we still have some of the worst roads. Why do we have bad roads? We shouldn't have bad roads. I mean, if there's one thing we got promised from the casino, is that the city would be better with it because they're going to give us money. But we haven't seen the benefit of that. So where's the money going? You got to ask that. It's time that we take that money and do what it's supposed to be done with it and get it and give it back to taxpayers in the form of better roads and better services. That's what it was meant for. I mean, he's talking 2 or 3 million, 5 million. That's not going to touch it. Not today. $1 million today doesn't do anything. Nothing. It's $1 million is nothing. You need more than that. You got to dedicate more than that. We have to commit to that. Is there anybody who can run for mayor that'll commit to that and get it done? Man, oh man. I mean, I love the casino. It's responsible for a lot of good that's come to Niagara Falls. And the casino gives us money not to waste on frivolities, nonsense, like multi-million-dollar trails, walking trails, and nonsense. Take care of infrastructure. And the infrastructure, why do you think it's so bad? Because of increased traffic. I mean, they had to do Robinson Street for I don't know how many millions of dollars because, local people aren't going down Stanley Avenue. It's too packed. They're taking shortcuts all over the city through subdivisions all over the place to avoid these roads that have got so busy you can't travel them, can't navigate them. So they start taking the side streets and it's pounding down the side streets. That's why a lot of these roads are getting hammered because of increased traffic from the casinos and clogged up main arteries that people have to bypass. So we need to have them fixed. And Robinson Street's just a great example of what they had to do. So that money was allocated to help us keep the city nice, keep the roads in good shape, give us a little bit better than other cities who don't get the money have, but we haven't seen that. And, speaking of roads, and Eric Idle, well, yeah, okay, so back to Eric Idle for a second. He really gave us a big presentation, but you know what? Blah, blah, blah. Here we go again. Here we go. Is anybody from this city from Missouri? And if you don't know what that means, look it up. Speaking of roads, did you see the baloney video King James the Weird made proclaiming Niagara Falls is wasting more money on signs telling everybody they are launching Operation Smooth Roads? Oh, yeah. They're making signs to put up in places for Operations Smooth Road. Is this like crunch the curve, crush the curve, or whatever the heck they spend money on during COVID? Wasted money. Oh yeah, they're gonna put signs up. I don't know what these signs cost, but I can imagine. Somebody whose friends there got a little bit of a contract to do this. Yeah, they're gonna put up Operation Smooth Roads. They're calling it OSR for short. I don't even know. OSR should be called Operation Send Regrets because that's all you're gonna get is regrets from this. Them wasting our money. My regret is they blew my money on these signs and don't have anything left for the roads. Are you kidding me? Operation Smooth Roads. This guy loves videos and marketing. These crazy. Listen, here's what I wanted to see: millions of dollars put to roads, not signs. Signs don't fix roads. Money does. Show us. Don't tell us, Jimmy. You don't have to tell us about Operation Smooth Roads. Make the friggin' roads smooth. We'll know when we drive down there and we don't get our teeth knocked out. I'm from Missouri. Look that up. You know what I mean. Okay, I really don't understand the concern with plastic bottles. They had a big thing about plastic bottles again. It was before city council. Some groups that come in and run minor hockey and that, they make money selling water. But now they banned it in the arena. So the people were back coming saying, give us a break. Give us a break. We want to sell water again. We make money from it. It helps our cause, our minor hockey club and that. And of course, somebody came in, Echo Warrior came in, talked about all bad water, those bad water bottles are. I mean, you think that these people are sitting next to the Niagara River, chugging down bottles of water and then throwing them in the river. It's in a contained place. There's recycling containers there. No big deal. Why shouldn't they be able to sell bottled water? Every store in Niagara Falls does. They sell bottled water, energy drinks, you name it, it's in these things, Gatorade. Why shouldn't they be able to sell it and make money? It just doesn't make sense. So if the public doesn't care, and they don't, believe me, you got a couple guys who are eco warriors that care, maybe. If they don't care, why not let them sell it? It's free markets. Hey, if they can't sell water because people are so disgusted by plastic bottles, they're not going to sell them because they're not making money. Let the public decide. Why are you controlling the public? Allow plastic bottles in there. You can bring them in. They just won't let you sell them. It's just ridiculous. Oh man, I don't get it. I just don't get it. Where's the common sense in all this? And then one guy said, "Oh yeah, you have the water fountains, but I see guys walking their dogs and then they pick up their crap and then go wash their hands in these water fountains." Oh yeah, yeah. And I don't think they're that sanitary anyway. So who cares, right? Who cares? But yeah, let the markets decide if they want plastic bottles in arenas. If everybody's that aghast, that insulted, that hurt, don't buy it. If they don't sell any, they won't have it there. That's what freedom's about. Freedom of choice. And the reality is a lot different than the case they present about, people are going to be polluting everything. No, in the arena, they're going to put them in the recycle. Have signs up that say, please recycle for the environment or whatever you want to have, right? Meanwhile, they're worried about water. The Gale Center's sitting on a contaminated dump with so much contaminants under it, like they're worried about water and bottles. Oh, come on. The whole area is polluted so bad you can't build houses on. I don't know. Public service announcement: no more beer. That's right. Gary Wilkins just sent me a message. He goes, "Just breathe, Paul. Just breathe slowly. Don't." Oh, funny. Thanks, Gary. Oh, that's funny, man. Okay, so no more beer. That's right. Not from the Bridge Street store. They're closing down the Bridge Street beer store. So a real blow to the homeless and around Queen Street and surrounding areas. But never fear. You can still get your can of Maximum Ice at your local convenience store and the liquor store on Victoria Avenue. But Gary said they're not allowed in the liquor store because they go in there and steal everything. I go, well, if they want liquor, they're not going to be able to get that, right? I mean, they won't allow them in the liquor store anymore, so they're going to have to deal with Maximum Ice 6.5% beer or something. But it's closing down, so anybody out there who is going to go to the beer store after November 1st, I think, you won't be able to get beer there. It's going to be closed. Wonder what they're going to do with that building. Hey, put some homeless people in it. How about that? They're there anyway. Okay, kudos to MPP Cheeto Bandito. That's right, our MPP. Wayne Gates, I'm going to thank him. And if you know me, I don't thank him for much. As a matter of fact, I don't thank him for anything. But I am going to thank him for the fight for free prostate exams. I mean, at this point, I don't have to pay. I'm over 65, so you get it free anyway. So, but for the people who are under, I think this is really important because a lot of people don't want to go and get a prostate exam because it costs 35, 40, 45, 50 bucks. I'm not sure what it is anymore. It was 35. And that's not right because prostate is like 95% curable prostate cancer if you catch it early. So this early detection is so important, much like mammograms. So that survival rate of 95% is fantastic, but you have to know that you have it before it progresses to the point where it isn't curable. Now, the province says these tests give false positives and really isn't that reliable. But you know what? This is how they speak out of two sides of their mouth, right? They're a weird bunch, these politicians. Most things they go by the mantra, if it saves just one life, if it saves just one life. But this could save a lot of lives. Okay, some tests might be wrong. Might have to do other tests or whatever. But still, what happened to if it saves just one life? For this, I guess they don't care about your dingleberry. I don't know. But I think they should really fund this. And thank you, Wayne Gates, our MPP. I call him El Cheeto Bandito, for taking that cause and running with it. He's been doing it for a long time with a free screening for prostate cancer, and all men appreciate it. And some men that still have a prostate that are women still will appreciate it when they get older. Okay, so Big Mouth Billy Bass up at Queen's Park. Let's talk about Big Mouth Billy Bass Edsel Ford, and I'm going to talk about him in a minute, but I'm going to get to my third sponsor, Hamel Machine Company. I'm going to take a breath, Gary. I'm going to take a breath. And you know what? Whenever industry contemplates moving into an area, whether it be Niagara Falls or any other area, they want to know there's good machine shops to service them. Why? Because when a machine breaks down, they need to get it up and running as fast as possible so they can produce their goods. Production time that is closed down loses money. So what do? They go to Bob Benner and staff over at Hamel Machine Company, and their staff is so qualified, it's unbelievable. These are top-notch employees he has. And they say, hey, listen, we need this fixed. So Bob Benner takes a look at it, says, yeah, we can fix it. And if we can't fix it, we can reverse engineer it. They have 3D printers. They have water jet cutters. And we have all the equipment, modern equipment, to be able to fix it. But he doesn't stop there. No, Hamel Machine Shop takes the next step. They make it better so that they get more production out of it. And they've done it for the wine industry, the food industry, the agricultural product industry. This is what they do. And once they do repair this and make it better, these parts that they invent, they ship them all over the world. This little place, Hamel Machine Company, been here since 1948 in Niagara Falls. Who would have known? But it's amazing. Go to their website, hamelmachine.ca. Check out what the work they do. It'll blow your mind. It'll blow your mind. I'm just telling you that. Go check it out. And if you need anything done around your house that has to do with milling, lathing, fabricating, designing, they can do it. You want a set of back gates, specially made, beautiful back gates? Hamel Machine Company are the guys to talk to. hamelmachine.ca. Go check out their website, and please support our sponsors because they're great corporate citizens. They work with the city, and they're just great people. Thank you very much. We appreciate you supporting our sponsors and all small business in Niagara Falls. Okay. Oh, and by the way, if you have a small business and you're watching this, please feel free to call me if you want to market your business with me. I'll give you a shout out on my show 4 times a week. And then it goes on YouTube and 4680 Cube Live. It goes on Rumble, Truth Social, and X. So, yeah, I can help you out. And I don't charge. It's peanuts. It's pennies. Okay, Big Mouth Billy Bass up at Queen's Park is saying he wants an apology from Peter Hickstra, the U.S. Ambassador to Canada. This guy's got a lot of balls. A lot of ballina, this guy. Because he threw a couple of F-bombs at the Ontario rep in Washington at a reception about this ad about Reagan. David Patterson, Ontario's Washington envoy, was the target of Hoekstra's rant, complaining about Ford's anti-tariff ad. Well, Patterson stood there listening. Now, Big Mouth Billy Bass says that Hoekstra should call Dave up and apologize. Well, something that's probably not going to happen, by the way. Imagine being in Washington and having to deal with these Canadians. I mean, if it doesn't drive you crazy, nothing would. Running ads against the U.S. using fake videos with sound bites from a former much revered president. Look at this. There's a fly flying around here. Get the heck out of here. You know, and he expects the U.S. rep not to be upset with Canada. BMM, or BMBB, Big Mouth Billy Bass, I call him, is a total asshat, a blowhard that's not doing more damage to Canada and the U.S.-Canadian relations than ever. And even old stiff chili con carney hasn't done as much damage, I don't think, although he's done a lot. And you know what? We got to be living in alternative reality here. I mean, and using a speech from 50 years ago, do they not know? Newsflash, the world's changed. The world's changed. I mean, this big mouth Billy Bass should shut up and let the feds take care of everything. I mean, I know they're screwing it up, but, you know, it's just a ploy because he wants to run for PM. Oh, yeah, he wants to run for the conservative nomination and run for PM. That's it. I mean, he should be quit wasting taxpayer money, $75 million on these ads, hard-earned taxpayers' money, and just shut the hell up. Okay, I had enough of him. Oh, how about this one? Gary Wilkins. And this gets me madder than a swarm of bees protecting their honey. Muslim parents have demanded that pork be removed from all school canteens in Montreal and all of its suburbs. Are you kidding me? Or are they to demand anything in Canada? Gotta be kidding me. Now, the mayor of Montreal, he's got to go on that guy. He declined to do that and sent a note to all parents explaining why that they're not taking pork out of schools. Muslims must be aware, I'm quoting, that they need to adapt their customs, traditions, and way of life to Canada and Quebec. Bam! Case closed. If you don't like the rules there, go home. The mayor continued, Muslims need to realize that they need to integrate and learn to live in Quebec. They need to change their way of life, not the Canadians who have welcomed them so generously. Like other countries, Canadians are unwilling to give up their identity and culture. Finally, they must understand that in Canada and Quebec, with its Judeo-Christian roots, Christmas trees, churches, and religious holidays, religion must remain a personal affair. The municipality of Dorval has the right to refuse any concession to Islam and Sharia. Bam again. Bam again. And he's being nice here. You really should have told them to F off and advised them not to cause trouble. And if they do, FAFO. Okay, the mayor finished off with this. For Muslims who disagree with secularism and who don't feel comfortable in Canada, there are 57 beautiful Muslim countries in the world, most unpopulated, and willing to welcome them with open arms under Sharia law. If you left your country for Canada and not other Muslim countries, it's because you believe life in Canada is better than elsewhere. We won't allow you, let me continue here, to be continued, we won't allow you to bring Canada back to the level of those 57 countries. Ask yourself this question just once. Why is it better in Canada than where you're from? Pork on the menu in dining is part of that answer. If you accept this situation, stay. If not, be prepared to leave. Bam! Number 3. Love it or leave it. I mean, this is the letter of the ages, and it should be given to all Muslims as they come into Canada. Should be distributed to all the hotels they're staying at for free. They should all get the same message. This is our country, not yours. If the left would quit pandering to these people, Canada would be much better off. Either like it or leave it. Your choice. Amen. And that was something. And wow, wow. If you don't get that message, you're not going to get it. Put pork on your fork. That's the message. And speaking of Muslim communists, the race for mayor in New York City is heating up as a Cuomo, and this is another real gem. This Cuomo, he got hammered by Zoran Mamdani, and he ran independent, so he's running against him, but he's making inroads a little bit into the lead that Zoran Mamdani had. Unbelievable that the communist Muslim sympathizer currently has the lead. And by double digits, even though Cuomo's making inroads, he's still double digits down. Unbelievable that New York City is going to elect this guy. And it's going to be a nightmare for him if they do. November 4th is election day. We'll see what happens. Of course, the right pick is the guy that has lived in the tough parts of New York City, grew up there, rides the subways every day, and has an intimate knowledge of the city. As founder of the Guardian Angels, the group that patrolled the subways and streets in the heyday of crime in New York City, and continue to patrol those subways and streets today. And that guy's name is Curtis Sliwa, the founder of the Guardian Angels. And if this Mamdani gets elected, New York City is going to be in serious trouble. People are going to exodus. Businesses are going to exodus. He talks about everything for free. Free healthcare for everybody. Free buses for everybody. Increase tax rates on businesses to 55% or something so that they can pay for it all. And Trump has said, if this guy gets elected, I am not giving federal funds to a terrorist. They're on their own. It's going to get ugly. It's going to get ugly. See what happens on November 4th, Election Day. I'm going to be watching that one closely. We just got to get through Halloween. 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. That's next Tuesday, November 4th is the election. I'll be watching. I don't know if you will be or not. It's going to be a good one. Does anyone remember that left-wing lunatic, the darling of the Clinton years, Democrats, James Carville? Does anybody remember this guy? He is a bald-headed guy, the raging Cajun from Louisiana, a real nut bar back then. Well, this wrinkled Louisiana alligator is still around and crazier than normal. He's even goofier than he was. Old age has really caught up to him. Now, why is this guy even in the news, you ask? He's old news. Well, get this. He said that Trump and anyone associated with Trump should be put in cuffs, march down the main street of Washington in orange jumpsuits, their heads shaved bald, and people allowed to spit on them. This guy is what a Looney Tune this guy is. Are you kidding me? This guy, he's trying, I don't know if he's trying to be a comedian or he's serious. This whack job has gone totally bonkers, way over the top, batshite crazy. I mean, shut the hell up, you Cajun fool. You haven't been relevant since Clinton was stuffing cigars in the Oval Office. Get the hell out of here. Can you imagine? And you think these guys are doing good for the Democratic Party. They're not. They're not. The Democratic Party right now are looking like a real bunch of dopes with the government shutdown because there's all they need is 5 Democrats in the Senate to vote to open the government up again, and it's open, and everybody gets their checks in that. All the people who are marching against Trump, no kings, no kings. Now they're asking the king to release their money because they don't have any money for food in that, and the bottom line is, if you let the government provide your daily meal, the government can also not give you any daily meal. That's the problem with the government. It's better when you go out and earn it yourself, right? But, oh man, this guy is a whack job. I'm laughing my head off, and I just can't believe it. They're nuts. And speaking of left-wing loonies, they're yelling because Trump is tearing down the east wing of the White House to build a grand ballroom. I mean, this is something the White House doesn't even have for state functions or dinners. They're all conducted in a tent outside. So you got the world leaders coming for a big dinner and or whatever dignitaries, and they're in the tent outside. So Trump said, "The heck with that." They're whining and crying about the sanctity of the White House and history, but they forget they tore down all the statues. Speaking of history, they tore down statues of Jefferson and everybody else. And they also forget about the many renovations to the White House over the years. I mean, it's been renovated a million times. Throwing paint at statues, tearing down history, removing history, and they're worried about removing the east wing of the White House and putting a grand ballroom in it. Unbelievable. They really are lunatics, mental cases, and it's just ridiculous. When Trump finishes this ballroom, every president from now on will use it. It's going to be something. It's going to be something that the White House deserves. It is the presidential palace. If you want to get it down to that, I know they don't like to say that. I'm just catching a fly here. Did I get him? No. Hey. Okay, I'm not going loony. I know I got cataracts and that, and I see spots, but that was a fly. Okay, and speaking of the Schumer shutdown, it continues. But the Republicans are ready to open the government again at any time. All they have to do is get these Democrats to side with them and vote for them. They need 5 Democrats, and they won't do it. Schumer's telling them not to do it. Everybody's telling them not to do it. And they can get the checks to the people that need them because, I mean, it's going to hurt people. But you know what? Here's the thing people don't understand about this. That after 41 days, and we're in 30 days now, a month now, after 41 days, Trump can start firing people that he don't need in departments. He can get rid of them. And he doesn't have to give them retroactive pay either. So Democrats better watch how long they want this to go because a lot of them will be getting released, these people. But the Democrats rather see people suffer than pass this bill. So there you go. That's what's happening down there. The problem is going to be ongoing until the Democrats decide they want to help the people. And at first it was they're doing this big campaign to blame the Republicans because they don't want to give $1.5 trillion to illegals for health care. But as it drags on and people are getting really affected by it, they're not getting checks and that. Guess what? Guess what? The Democrats are starting to look real bad because they're the culprits. They're the guys who are causing people to miss their checks. And while they're screaming and yelling about the ballroom, which is being paid for by private enterprise, taxpayers aren't paying a dime for it. Well, they're worried about that. People are not getting their checks on the street, not going to be able to buy food or anything else. So there you go. Anyway, that's it for me today. I'm out of here. I'm done for the day. Tomorrow's another day. And I'll be back at noon with Finally Friday, telling you more stories of the weird. And what I would like to do, though, before I end the show today, is ask everybody out there to pray for the people of Jamaica. They just got hammered there, and that island got devastated. I know the West End got really hit bad, Montego Bay in that area, but the East End really got it too. I mean, this was a serious, big hurricane Category 5, the biggest they've ever got. And there's a lot of people hurting right now. So let's give them our prayers and hope that they can survive this and get through this. It was pretty devastating for the island. And, they don't have a lot there anyway. They live in huts that got blown out. So come on, let's give them our prayers. Anyway, I'm out of here. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. My name is Paul Calabir. This is Your City, Your Voice, coming to you live from 4680Q. Don't forget to support our sponsors, Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue, and Hamill Machine Company. God bless you all. See you tomorrow at noon. Promises made, promises kept. And look for those smooth roads out there. Be a lot easier to report the smooth roads than it would be to report the roads that are in terrible shape. Let me put it that way. Ciao, ciao. See you later. And Gary, I did replace the battery in my fob here. I replaced it like you said. Let's see if it works on the first time. Nope.